में जी हिट है पंजाबी साच नाच पंजाब नाच पंजाब नाच पंजाब नाच
कुर्सी की पेटी बांध लीजिए क्योंकि मौसम बिगड़ने वाला है. Hi, this is Rian here and you're listening to How is the Josh, and this is our first podcast, first season and first episode out here. And I'm very excited to be hosting this particular episode and this particular season. I'd just like to start, for introducing the podcast with something which Mr. Shah Rukh Khan had said during a press conference while promoting his film Dilwale a few years ago. He had said that हम जब एक फिल्म रिलीज कर देते हैं तब वो फिल्म सिर्फ हमारी नहीं रहती, वो फिल्म पूरी ऑडियंस की हो जाती है. And based on this, in these inspiring words, basically said by Mr. Shah Rukh Khan, this show is basically a replication of that. Because cinema at the end of the day is made by the filmmakers. We have our favorite actors, being casted in it. And we have a story being presented in front of us. But at the end of the day, it is we who consume it as an audience, and cinema is basically all about us, the cinema lovers, the cinephiles. And this podcast is just about that. For cinema lovers, a safe space basically where we have unfiltered discussions about cinema, about movies that we love, that have entertained us, that have disappointed us at the end of the day. And it is important to have discourses. It is important to have unfiltered discussions about cinema, about the movies that we love, so that at the end of the day, the filmmakers or the industry can feel the pulse of what the cinema lovers feel, of what the audience feel, and then accordingly they can, make films which continue to entertain us. Because entertainment industry is not just a source of income for the country or for the economy as such, but at the same time, entertainment industry is something which at least, which actually helps us relax in our leisure time. It is something which completely takes us to a different world of imagination. And this is something without which, especially in the globalized era, we can't do it, honestly. Today in this podcast, I myself, Rian Buragohai, I'm pursuing English Political Science and History from Christ University, and I'm currently serving as an intern exclusively at Cinepari, where you're listening to this podcast. And at the same time, my love for cinema started right since I was a kid as such. Especially, I think I was 12 or 13 years old. I started watching the Karan Johar movies, usual Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, Kal Ho Na Ho, Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum. That's how my love for cinema started. It's Karan Johar which had ignited my imagination for and love for Bollywood cinema, I would say. And it went on, but I officially started even reviewing this year itself with the Dharma Productions film Jug Jug Jio, which released post the pandemic. And since then, I have been into reviewing films. There's an Instagram page called Review Bollywood where I, submit my reviews as such. You can definitely go check out that particular page. And reviewing is something which is something I would like to say it's like kind of a hobby for me, because at the end of the day, none of us can be film critiques as such. But as audience, we all have a right to review, and I believe in that. Now the time has come to introduce the guest of the day, and of course the guest of this entire season with whom we'll be having discussions. So we'll have Asif Rahman Malik, but I would like him to introduce himself, because definitely it's a conversation and we're not having an interview. So Asif, please introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, I'm Asif Rahman Malik, and I'm a student, a mass communication student at Reva University, Bangalore. And I'm also into reviewing films just like Rian. But my journey started, it's a long time. Like I started it in 2019, and my first review was, the film called Bharat, which starred Salman Khan. So I started my reviewing from there in 2019. And from then, I've reviewed more than 100 films in total. I don't know the exact figure, but I've reviewed so many films, and I'm continuing to, review the films. And now, if you ask me, why I review films, because I love cinema, and how this love for cinema grew Uh, I don't, maybe I was 5 or 6 years old when my father took me to the theaters to watch a film called Rab Ne Bana Di Jodi, which starred Shah Rukh Khan. So, of course, it was my first film in theater. Before that, I watched few films on television, like Om Shanti Om and all. So I was, a bit Shah Rukh Khan fan. It started from there only, and I'm a Shah Rukh Khan fan. So at that point of time, I was just watching Shah Rukh Khan films or some films which are, sometimes telecasted on TV. So yeah, that way I started to watch cinema. But mostly I used to watch only Shah Rukh Khan films in the theaters. But then slowly, I just got to know, people used to suggest me that you watch this film, that film, this is good, this is bad. Then I started watching films and all on TV, sometimes on laptop. So then, now I feel that cinema is not just limited to a particular actor or something. It's not like only A-list actors. Now I've watched many films. I don't know how much, but I've watched many films, and now I know what cinema is. Cinema is like not just for entertainment. Yeah, of course, people love to watch cinema for entertainment, but I guess cinema is not just entertainment. It's not. Yeah, of course, entertainment is there, but I feel it's a present. It's like loving your art form. Cinema is an art form, I feel, and it's like presenting your side of a story. It's because cinema is like director's perspective, the writer's perspective, how they want to show a story. And since I review the films now, so I also look into the technicalities of filmmaking, anything like cinematography and all, about the writing skills and all, everything, like whatever, whenever I review. So I have an Instagram page called The Box Office, which started in 2019, and till now I'm continuing to, review it out there. On Twitter also I post my reviews, and recently 2 months back I started my new YouTube channel, so you can check these out.
En esta noche la vida es completa.
Yes, Asif, thank you so much. That was definitely a lovely introduction, and it's always a pleasure to have you here at Cinepari, having all these kind of beautiful discussions as such. Yeah. Now, having said that, we'd like to take our audience to two of the most trending issues or trending news updates with regards to the Bollywood film industry, which just happened in this particular week. So first, I would definitely like to introduce by saying that, this is one of the most hyped up and awaited films, which is releasing next year on 25th January. And yes, you have guessed it right. It is Pathan. And we have had this beautiful song, which has just been released, that is Besharam Rang. And I would just comment about the song as such, but I would just say one thing that Deepika Padukone says in the lyrics. In the lyrics of the song, when she's basically lip sing it. It says "Besharam rang kahan dekha hai dunya walon ne." But I think there has been a lot of besharmi out there in the social media, a lot of negativity which has been there just after the song
Right.
release. But
Yeah.
nevertheless, it has crossed 100 billion views, which definitely shows that it has led to it gaining more viewership. I would like to hear
Yeah.
your comments from it, Asif, first before I talk about the song. इस साल लगता है सच में मौसम बिगड़ गया है. क्या लगता है आपको?
मौसम तो बिगड़ गया है, ऑफ कोर्स टीजर आने के बाद से मौसम बिगड़ गया है. एंड यस, द सॉन्ग व्हिच came out last week, 5 days back, and if you ask my opinion about the song is good. Okay, I won't say it's bad. Like many people are saying, it's not, not up to. Yeah, it's not up to the mark, because everyone had a lot of expectations that it would be a banger party anthem and all. Because the music directors were saying that it's a brilliant music. Yeah, the music is good, the background score is good. Okay, and they've used Spanish lyrics and all, and I like that thing. And the picturization is really good. The song picturization of Deepika Padukone and Shah Rukh Khan, who did nothing in the song. He was just, walking out there, staring at Deepika, showing his abs and all. And in the end, he was just dancing a bit. So
Right.
without doing anything with his screen presence, he actually stole the song. Especially in the end, he stole the song. And yeah, it was. I like this picturization. Yeah, I expected a better, more better than this, but it's fine. Like if people ask me like which is better, Ghungru or Besharam Rang, I'll of course select Ghungru because it's still my favorite.
परवन की तू काट ली मैं तेरा हैप्पी आवर तू सैटरडे की रात है मैं संडे का अखबार
Right, and just coming back to the point and coming back to the song as such, so I just say that, yeah, I think the song is pretty good. Of course, not up to the expectations as the hype was there, but at the same time, one observation is that definitely it did lack a kind of a hook step. Like if you compare it to Ghungru, you
Yeah,
just compared it to
yeah,
it.
of course.
And at the same time, even if there is not a hook step, but we have seen a lot of songs, good songs, even like the breakup song, say for instance, of Ae Dil Hai Mushkil, if you say, right, or Suraj Duba Hai of Roy, and all these kind of songs as such. These are kind of party anthems. They don't have very definite hook steps, but then they are very fast paced. So in the
Yeah.
beginning, when I actually had listened to Beshram Rang, I found it very slow and I was not really liking it. But by now, by the time you're doing this podcast, I have listened to it multiple times, and now I think
Yeah.
it's a song I really vibe to at night. So it has
Yeah.
definitely changed. Now,
Yeah. Yes. Same for me.
yeah. Now coming back to the next trending topic of this particular week is the release of Love Ranjan's most awaited film's title. He was keeping the title in suspense for a long time, and finally it has
Yeah.
released to Choti Main Makkan, and then they had also released a shot of it as such with Ranbir Kapoor and Shraddha Kapoor coming back
Yeah.
into the frame.
Title announcement teaser.
Title announcement teaser, and I just my observation to that would be that see, Ranbir Kapoor is one of my most favorite actors, and to see him in a romantic role is something I think a lot of people definitely desire as such, and it really feels extremely pleasing that he's returning to that romantic avatar. Really very excited for the romantic comedy, and would want that Ye Jawani Hai Diwani kind of a character as such to come out as such. So yeah, I would like to listen from you. Yeah.
So yeah, so Ranbir Kapoor and Shraddha Kapoor, two actors who are like the guns are always on their head that they are nepo kids and all. But I guess whatever fame they have and whatever love they get, it's just because they are really good actors.
Okay, so that's it for the trending topics of this particular week as such. And now we move on to our discussion for today, which is based on the theme that the top 5 Bollywood films that entertained us this year, that is in 2022. Although it's very difficult to rank, but we'll definitely try to do some particular justice as such to it.
Very
Isif, are you
difficult.
ready for the discussion?
Yeah, it's very difficult to rank. So many films, so many quality content.
But
Let's
still, are you
see.
up for it?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, definitely, as I said, it's very difficult to rank. So I would, precisely do it very vaguely and not something, which exactly, will be accurate as per my sentiments or as per my satisfaction level. But definitely, there are films this year which have left a deep mark, which have, definitely entertained us. The entertainment factor was very much visible. So,
Yeah.
with that being said, starting with the fifth film, the fifth favorite film of mine in the year 2022, being Jug Jug Jio. So this was a film which started off the year for Dharma Productions, because Dharma Productions came up with this particular film. It was the first film of Dharma Productions this year. And this was also, mass, it's like a kind of a family entertainer as such, right? Which was
Yeah.
massively, entertaining for me. So that's why I put it at number 5 as such. And the main reason, which have made me entertain, and I'm sure a lot of people were definitely entertained by it, because it did pretty well at the box office when movies were actually struggling to, do well at the box office post the pandemic, for that matter. So one good thing about definitely Jug Jug Jio has been that, first and foremost, I would like to say the perspectives which are put out in the storyline as such. Because usually in a family entertainment or, a family drama sort of a movie, we've usually seen the male perspectives being shown, mostly in the past also, most of the family movies, they look at the point of view from the patriarch, from the male head of the family as such. And many a times the focus is only on the male characters, or the heroes as such. But this was perhaps a movie which focused on the female perspective also in a relationship, in a marriage as such. And here we had definitely strong women characters, who had definitely, left a deep imprint after the movie. So as much as Varun Dhawan and Anil Kapoor were impressive, I equally found Kiara Advani and Neetu Kapoor to be impressive. But of course, Neetu Kapoor being the, being the overshadow factor for, everyone as such, with an amazing performance, with her return to silver screens after so many years as such. And
Yeah.
another thing which definitely I liked about Jug Jug Jio, in addition to the storyline, was the fact that, the music album of Jug Jug Jio is something which was really, very entertaining, which I could really vibe to. And I think there were a lot of songs which went viral, which were trending, be it Rangi Sari, be it Nach Punjaban, those hook steps, right? They became very viral. It became almost party anthems, and I could see literally in every party or in every event Nach Punjaban being played, or some random song of Jug Jug Jio being played, be it Rangi Sari or Dupatta or all those kind of songs. So definitely it has been a movie which has been a wholesome ride of entertainment. Of course, with its own flaws, there was an abrupt ending to the story, and also being the fact that which I found in the film. That being said, that some of the dialogues with regards to the comic punches didn't really work because they were too cliche, or they were a hit and a miss affair. But some of them actually worked really well for me because I really laughed. So it's 50-50 situation out there. But then Bhul Bhulaiyaa 2 also revealed the ghost face or identity, which we did not see in the prequel. So this is something, I think they had taken that creative liberty, but yes, fine, they did a good job with that. Tabu was the person who had, overshadowed everyone for me because she was just brilliant in what she did. And Kartik Aaryan, definitely, like, I can see him as, like the future of Bollywood because of, his the charm that he has in Bhul Bhulaiyaa 2 is, it's really overwhelming to see that, especially his chemistry with Kiara Advani, and, the entire Ami Jetumar Tandav and everything that he does, it's just bang on. Of course, Kiara Advani's character being half-baked is another flaw I would like to point out because, her character could have been walked upon. So I think as a female lead, she should have had a better role, but she was apparently sidelined by Kartik Aaryan and Tabu in that film. But definitely, Rajpal Yadav and all the other supporting characters also played a very, good role. They played a good role in that movie. So yeah, so number 4 goes with Bheria and Bhul Bhulaiyaa 2 tied together because it's a bit difficult to make a decision. So what are your thoughts about your number 4th film?
Firstly, I'll talk about Bhul Bhulaiyaa 2. Also, I did not expect anything from the film, but it pretty much impressed me. And I love the first part. Akshay Kumar's Bhul Bhulaiyaa. It will always be my favorite. So it's like it's not replaceable, of course. But here also, when you don't expect anything and you get better products, then you feel good. So yeah, Bhul Bhulaiyaa impressed me. Bhul Bhulaiyaa 2 impressed me, and of course, Tabu was amazing in the film. And as you mentioned, there were a few flaws, and I agree to that. And yeah. So let's see if they are planning to bring Bhul Bhulaiyaa 3 as well. So you never know. There may be a crossover between Akshay Kumar's character and Kartik Aaryan's character. So
Yeah,
it would be
I'd love to
exciting
see
to
that.
watch.
I would love to see that, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, let's see what happens. Other than that, like Bhul Bhulaiyaa 2 is not in my list of top 5. So yeah, okay, I'll quickly go to my 4th to the films I would say, which I have ranked at number 4. I have to put 2 films unfortunately, because it's very difficult for me to select between one and put all of them in a different ranks. But yeah, my number 4 will be actually both of them are remakes of South Indian films. So they are Vikram Veda and Drishyam 2.
Definitely.
So Vikram Veda is many people know that it is the Hindi remake of Tamil film of the same name. Okay. and it was directed by Pushkar Gayatri only, who have also directed the Hindi one. So, uh, Vikram Veda, I had an amazing experience, and the main reason is its powerful, the powerful performance of the star.
Actually, it may be a coincidence or something, but actually, what you have kept at number 4 with regards to Vikram Vedha and Drishyam 2 as a
Yeah,
tie is something
yeah,
which brings me to my number 3 category, where I
uh,
have placed the same two films, that is Drishyam 2
yeah,
and Vikram Vedha.
yeah, yeah,
So
nice.
yeah, so the same two films, but again, in a different position. For you, it's fourth, for it means third. But nevertheless, I think I agree to almost everything that you have spoken about both of these two films, because no matter how much we appreciate the work done by the actors in these films, it is less because they have definitely done a commendable job as such. But if I have to again, uh, add on to a couple of points with regards to Vikram Vedha. I think the star point of the film in Vikram Vedha was the fact that how Hrithik Roshan, his expressions, his acting, his performance was something which really kept you captivated throughout the film. I mean, I think
Yeah,
till his entry, the film was going a bit dry, but after his entry, we just saw
yeah,
the theater turn into a stadium. It was the response was that massive as such, and it might be an unpopular opinion, but like it's even the action sequences which he has done with the slow retro music, okay, of an ancient Bollywood song. That is also something which I really liked. So that is also something which I really appreciated. And at the same time, of course, Saif Ali Khan as well as Radhika Apte, they have also done their commendable jobs in delivering justice to their roles. But again, another good aspect of the Vikram Vedha was that how the story is very well referenced to Vikram and Betal stories. So it brings back nostalgia of childhood as well, how it has been very well connected to Vikram in Betal. So it's really good. It's really, it was really entertaining for that. And that's why it's perhaps the third of my favorites as such. Coming to Drishyam 2, oh my god. I mean, I have not watched Drishyam 2's original version, unlike you, like you pointed out.
yeah,
So for
yeah,
me, watching Drishyam 2, even Vikram Vedha for that matter, I have not watched the original, but for me, watching Drishyam 2 was like, for the first time, and I was very much unaware whether Vijay Salvagar will confess or not when the trailer had actually come out, because I actually have not watched the original, so I had no idea, and I was trying to avoid spoilers here and there. And when I watched the film finally and it reached the climax part, I think there was not even a single person in the theater who was not clapping and screaming when we got to realize the climax twist as such. And
yeah,
it was so crisp, it was so prompt, and they did it so well in framing the climaxes. It was just mind blowing. And for me, I think the best part, whether it's Drishyam 1, whether it's Drishyam 2, no doubt Vijay Salvakar, nobody can play it better than Ajay Devgan. And of course they have a commendable supporting cast with
yeah.
a
With
lot of
Tabu, I
potential
forgot to mention about
with
Tabu.
Tabo, exactly. But
But
the
you
I
know,
like this.
I wanna add on one point about Tabu. The origin. That's what I was saying. The difference between why Drishyam 2, the Malayalam version, is superior than this Hindi remake, because the characters, each and every character, almost each and every character, is given some sort of depth, and you feel that thing. And like Tabu's character, which was played by an actress in that Malayalam version, her
Right,
character was like, you till now you feel that she's trying to some sort of recover from that incident which happened with her son,
right,
and then her anger, that revengeful attitude inside her, that emotion, everything could be felt. I was like, and there is a scene where she's literally beating the protagonist of the film, which was Mohan Lal, who played George Kutti. So like she was slapping like anything, and the family was beaten so badly in that one. But here it is being chopped off. I don't know why.
right.
Here only 2 3 slaps Gaitonde, and they had the Gaitonde character who, like the original one, where it was not introduced in this original one. But here the
Right.
Gaitonde character was introduced, because of course Gaitonde became very famous after the first part. So yeah, they had to introduce Gaitonde, so they reintroduced him, and he only gave 2 3 slaps, and then very easily Vijay confessed. But there it took some time
Right.
to make him confess and all. So there are
Yeah,
many
I mean,
things.
there might have been, yeah, those instances,
In
but
the here,
but
here the remake one, there is a medical problem which the elder daughter is suffering from. It is not explained that properly, but in the original one, it is explained. So yeah, that's some differences. But that doesn't mean that the Hindi one is not good. If it would not have been good, then of course people would not have watched that. But yeah, people haven't. And
yeah,
there is one more thing why Drishyam 2 worked, because the Malayalam version there is no Hindi dub for that, so audience have not watched that. And those films which worked, which did not work, I'm sorry, which did not work at the box office, like Vikram Veda or Jersey, all of these remakes which did not work, all of them had their Hindi dubbed versions available on YouTube.
mhm.
So that's the reason. And here
I
Drishyam 2
mean,
worked. Yeah,
Drishyam too. Also, what I was saying is that I mean these differences or parallels might be there with the original version as such. Not denying that because I have not even watched it, but the fact is that I think for both part one and part two, here for these films, the slow screenplay, the slow paced screenplay, or the moderate paced screenplay as such is something which adds to the advantage of the film. Because
yeah,
usually if we watch films which have a very slow paced or moderate paced screenplay, we tend to lose engagement. And after a point of time, we do get bored about what is happening, why they are taking so much time to develop the story as such. But I believe that in Drishyam 1 and 2, because the facts are so important, the details are so important till the climax, that is the reason why the slow pace and moderate or the moderate pace screenplay, which reveals or which drops hints at every level, is something which is very important because it carries forward to the climax for that matter. So here it is an advantage for that. So that is one I like. That is one unique playing with the screenplay which I really liked as as far as Drishyam 2 is concerned. Now I
yeah.
think we can just come to your number three.
Yeah. So, my number three is a film which you ranked at number four, Bhedia. So it's a coincidence once again,
Okay.
but yeah. So of course, Bhedia was a well-made film, and I would agree to all the points which you said about Bhedia, the transformation scenes, the VFX, CGI, the music, the background score, and the comedy of course, which worked quite well throughout the film. Many people were complaining about the comedy. I know why people were complaining, because they were keeping expectations some sort of three level, but the tone of both the films are completely different. Here it is some sort of a Stree was basically about a ghost who deserves respect. It's basically some sort of gender equality as well, if you just see. And but here it's just about man versus nature, and I literally love this narrative of this man versus nature, this
Exactly.
conflict.
Right. Hmm.
The way they have showed that, wait, I'll just tell you about it. So yeah, so the village is zero. So zero, I don't know what that means. Okay, I just know zero is a a small sort
It's
of
a sort of a
village
valley in Arunachal Pradesh.
valley. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually a valley in Arunachal, and it's very much famous for its culture, and now it's famous for its music festivals, I guess. So zero. So
Mithun as well.
yeah, yeah, so Mithun, yeah. So zero, I don't know what that means, but I just maybe it's like why makers selected this, this location. I just, saw a video a few days back on YouTube. One of the person was telling about it that zero means it's you can consider it like Zero, zero. Like if you put it anywhere, it can balance the things. So zero is a place like which is balanced. People are living properly in their respective homes, and this is the jungle which should not be destroyed. It belongs to the animal. Okay, so if an outsider comes, enters here, so this balance of zero. So when Varun Dhawan's character enters, Varun and Jana both, when their characters enter, the jungle, zero, you just see there are many things happening in the, valley. That, people are dying, this or that are happening, the trees are being cut, and,
Right.
Varun was attacked by the Bhedia. So it is like shown in a way that an outsider, if they enter and try to change things in that jungle or any place, so it can actually break the ecosystem, or some sort of you know unstabilized or something. So yeah, I feel the maker's perspective and the narrative through which they were like showing this film, that the Bhedia is a protector, and I feel like it's like basically it's based on a folklore, as I know, of Arunachal, this Bhedia story. So I guess people, the filmmakers can actually find such stories, should go to the grassroots level, and they can find such stories about folklores, because our culture has a lot of stories actually, and I don't think we will need remakes or anything. I'm not talking about just about Bollywood that they remake. South industry also, they also remake films. So I'm telling, just like, see, Kantara is also a folklore, so they actually went deep into the culture, found that story, and then they presented it. So that's what it is. So Bhedia is also the same. And as you mentioned about the Northeast thing, how it is being showed, that it's like, looks like, Varun and that Abhishek Pathak's character, both of them were like, I was feeling that the people, I'm also from Northeast, I'm also from Assam, so I know what happens in Northeast. So it's like, Varun and Jana's, Abhishek Pathak's character Jana, both of them are like any normal people who come to Northeast, and or whenever they meet any Northeastern people, the way they behave, they call them chow mein or anything kung fu, or
Right,
something
right.
they relate or something. So that's what it is. And the person who is like, the Arunachal boy, he's entirely representing Northeast, who faces these kind of things. Even if Bhaskar and Jana are the friends of that character, but still you feel that they are all the time making fun, and Varun is laughing on it, and so that's what it is. So I love the narrative that they are showing it, that through the eyes of normal audience. They're like keeping it like you are in the shoes of Bhaskar and Jana, and you actually behave with the Northeastern people in the same way. So I love this perspective and this narrative which the director, the writers kept. And the last thing which I'll add about Bhedia, which I like the most, it is that the way they are creating this entire universe, the horror universe, which is actually a
Mm-hmm.
good concept. And I feel this horror universe is, it has a huge scope, because see, the universes which are being made in India till now, like, of course, the cop universe, the spy universe, I would also say Loki universe also, of Lokesh Kanagraj. So all these universe are like, they'll be introducing new characters, and most of them will be saying that yes, they can do action, they'll beat villains, or they can be on the negative side, they can be the antagonist. So all these would be going on, spy universe, cop universe, and all. But horror universe is an universe, yeah, horror universe is a universe which has a scope. You'll get different characters. Like you got Sri, then you got Bhedia, you got Ruhi, and then there are many films like Moonja, Sunehri Sunaira, where uh, Ayushmann Khurrana will play a vampire. So yeah, I'm really excited for this universe. So this is my that's the reason why I kept Bhedia, because I'm pretty much impressed by the concept and
Right.
the idea, of course, like which the director and the makers have. So yeah, I just hope the parts like Sri 2 and the other parts, they release as soon as possible.
Right. So, I mean, I've already spoken about Bheria, and yeah, I mean, I think there's pretty much the discussion is done with regards to that. But so I'll just move on quickly to unit, or you can say the rank two as such.
Yeah,
And this is a film which is really close to my heart because it's, um, it's one of the first women-centric films which actually gained a lot of commercial success in India. Of course,
yeah,
it's directed by the man himself, Mr. Sanjay Leela Bhansali, one of the most successful and hardworking directors. And of course, it has one of my all-time favorite actresses, that's Alia Bhatt. And it is and the film is nothing but, Gangubai Kathiawari. So I'll
yeah,
place it at number two because I think I still remember, get goosebumps when I remember the speech that she had delivered with her character as Gangu in the Maidan, where she talked about the rights of sex workers. And and that speech, every word she said, the way she said it, her body language, everything, made me emotional. And I was in tears when after, listening to that particular speech as such. And, the pain which Gangu had gone through, the pain which she had endured to rise up to what she was as a gangster queen as such, is something which I could feel in the movie because of the character being beautifully portrayed by Alia Bhatt. And I mean, of course, this movie is nothing but, Sanjay Leela Bhansali and Alia Bhatt, completely carrying it on their shoulders. It's a brilliant collaboration between a director and an actress. And, it's one of and I think, Sanjay Leela Bhansali had praised Alia Bhatt so much for that he had once even said that, before I die, if there's one last shot I would like to see is that, that particular scene of Alia Bhatt, from that particular song where she was doing Dholira, from the Dholira song as such, her expressions, her dance moves and everything. He would like to see those scenes, as before he dies as such. So that's what even he was saying. He was so impressed with Alia Bhatt's performance as such. And I think I was equally entertained by that. So Gangubai was totally, heart touching, spine chilling and shivering movie for me because brilliant performance, brilliant story, with a very moderately paced screenplay. So I think was I couldn't review the film because at that time I was not reviewing the films. But if in today's context I had to give it stars, I think it would definitely be not less than 4.5. So I think it makes sense to be on my top two as such. Again, very happy that a feminist, women-centric movie had done well at the box office for that matter. So would like to know your number two as well, and some comments.
Firstly, I'll quickly give my views on
Yeah,
Gangubai Kathiawadi. I was also quite impressed by the way, because of course I love Sanjay Leela Bhansali's films, and again he's bringing something different, which is not historical, not a period drama. So I was excited, and plus Alia Bhatt, who is one of the best actresses currently of this generation, Gen Z. But the film was engaging. It had some flaws, but of course I felt like the main power is its this engaging screenplay, which was quite slow paced, but still it will like move in a way that you are not going to leave the seats, or you're gonna get bored, because whatever scenes are being inserted in the screenplay, those were sometimes entertaining, sometimes emotional, or sometimes were like with the background music, it got elevated in such a way that you're gonna like them. So yeah, of course I love the scenes of Ajay Devgan throughout the film. So his presence was really strong. But yeah, the movie was good, and I did not keep it in my rankings, but yeah, I was impressed by the film, and and it deserved a commercial success, because the movie is, of course, Sanjay Leela Bhansali is so there only, and he rarely disappoints. So it's a good movie, and I quite agree to all your points. So now I'll quickly go to my number two. And number two also I have to keep two films because I'm really confused.
right.
Both the films impressed me. But first of all, it is Monica, Oh My Darling, so which released on Netflix, and the second film is An Action Hero, which came out as a surprise. So first I'll talk about Monica very quickly. So Monica, Oh My Darling is Rajkumar Rao, Radhika Apte, and Huma Qureshi. I hope you have watched it. So that film, I really like the narrative that they're keeping it. The drama is quite sort of satirical, and the comic punches were like working quite well. The punchlines, if you don't have those powerful punchlines also, they're like smoothly with their actions. I was laughing. And the performances of Rajkumar Rao, he was actually, his comic timing is really good in the film. But Radhika Apte actually impressed me. So I had a great time watching it, and the director who directed this film, Vasan Bala, his last film, Mard Ko Dard Nahi Hota, is an amazing film. And I was suggested this film. I didn't watch that film, but one of my friends suggested it. So I watched that and I was impressed. So I was excited for this project as well. And I'm always excited for a Rajkumar Rao project. So yeah, it was a good experience on Netflix, of course. And another thing I would also like to mention about this film, that the music of the film is really good. The choice of music, they've kept the retro vibe. And whenever the music plays, if the situation is like, if there is a murder which has happened, so they have used that music, and which completely matches with the expression of that actor on the screen, and you're gonna laugh at it. So that's one thing. And I really loved the background score, which was used throughout the film. So yeah, Monica, Oh My Darling was an impressive film. And I'll quickly go to the other film, which is at number 2, is An Action Hero. And this literally came out as a surprise. I like the trailer, but I thought it might be an action film like every other action film which is being made. Maybe the scale is not that high, but any other action film. But it is surprising, quite surprising, because the storytelling is just amazing, very unique, very interesting, and the performances of Ayushmann Khurrana and Jaideep Ahlawat, amazing. And the cat and mouse chase throughout the film was just you're gonna love that. And I just feel that the director is Anirudh Iyer, who is a debut director, and he has also written the story. So I did not even feel that this is his first movie. That he's so smart. The humor is literally very smart. Unfortunately, an action hero just failed at the box office. Collected something around 10 to 11 crores. So, but amazing storyline, and I guess everyone should watch it. The way the story is being told, you just think about it, and Action Heroes is a film like, the story is something like an actor who is an action hero on screen. An incident happens, and now he has to be an action hero in the real life. So it was really good. Yeah, there are some side characters which are introduced when this film progresses, especially in the second half. There are flaws in that. There are many logic issues as well. But, in the end, the climax, I was not expecting that this climax would happen. I was expecting something else. I don't want to spoil it. So I had an amazing experience watching An Action Hero, and I should, praise Ayushmann Khurrana for taking different kind of topics, and this is the first time he's doing a kind of action in a film. He did Anek, but it lacked the actions, the action sequences. But here he actually performed really well. The action scenes were well choreographed. So yeah, and the background score, there is a rap going on, which is then An Action Hero theme. Sorry, so that was used throughout the film, and it was really good. So An Action Hero is an amazing film, and I would suggest everyone to watch it. Maybe not in theaters now, because it might have been thrown out of the theaters in most of the cities because of less occupancy. But when it comes to the OTT, I guess you should give this a chance. Of course, it should have been given a chance in the theaters, because it's a good theatrical film, I guess. But unfortunately, it did not work. But let's see what happens. Ayushmann should do more such films.
Right.
He will be doing. We know that Ayushmann loves to do different kind of subjects. So yeah,
Right.
really impressed, and that's why I've kept both the films. I was actually in my list, Monica Oh My Darling. After watching Monica Oh My Darling, it was there in the list, but I never thought that An Action Hero will enter that list, because this year Ayushmann gave Anek and Dr. G, Anek was not good, but Dr. G was quite good, but it did not make it to that list or something that I'm amazed by an Ayushmann
Right.
Khurrana film. But this, in the end of the year, he just he blowed my mind. So yeah, it was
Right.
amazing, and I just want to know your views, because I just want to know if what do you feel about action hero and Monica?
So that's what I'm gonna do before I move to number one. So the
Yeah.
thing is, as far as Action Hero and Monica, oh my darling is concerned, I've watched both of these films, okay, and I like both of them, but they are not in my top five list, and I have my own reasons for that. Um, so firstly, I'll just go to Monica, oh my darling. So I know maybe it was the director's perspective or it was the director's vision, but almost at every moment I found the story to be pretty much predictable.
Yeah, for me also.
That is something which was there. And secondly, at the same time, again, the thing is with Monica, oh my darling, although this film says Monica, okay, I will ask the question, where is Monica? Because the
Oma
female
side.
characters, the female characters in the film were being overshadowed by Rajkumar Rao. Not that it is his fault, but the thing is when we even try to at times, to make a story revolve around a women's character as such, or we name it about a women's character, it ultimately goes and revolves around the main lead for that matter. Most of the times it happens. So I think here, although it says Monica, oh my darling, there was a lot of crucial importance attached to Huma Qureshi's role, as well as no doubt ACP Naidu, the beautiful Marathi accent, and the beautiful performance by Radhika Apte's role as such. But definitely I found the female characters being largely overshadowed. That is one aspect of it. So I think this could have been something which could have been worked upon, because if you're showing three prominent actors on the posters and you're talking about a movie about Monica and all those things, you're not supposed to simply use them as objects of pleasure and dance for dance purposes or music or something like that. But I think they could have been, the character scope for these two character scope, could have been expanded or explored a bit better, is what I basically feel about it. But apart from that, in terms of acting and performances, there is no doubt, and definitely, I like the concept of Monica, oh my darling, and I do like the references and the several Easter eggs out there. When it comes to Action Hero definitely is a very good entertaining film. I won't deny that. Especially, I would appreciate Ayushmann Khurrana, because he is doing an action film like this for the first time, and he has done pretty well in the action sequences with a very brilliant presence of mind. So really good performances out there. Especially cameo appearances of Malaika Arora and Nora Fatihi have also added a lot of cherry on the cake as such, I would say. And even Jaideep, the other actor, he has played his role immensely well. So no, doubt with regards to that. But of course, like you also mentioned, the film suffers from a lot of logical fallacies towards the end of the second half for that matter. Especially there are sequences related, I won't spoil it, but there are sequences related to a face-off with an international don for that matter. And then there is something which happens in the climax which I feel is very, very logically flawed, and I think it's very unrealistic. So although the film started on quite a realistic note and the concept was good, but I felt it very unrealistic towards the end. But one special thing which I really like, and I still laugh about it when I watch Action Hero, is the references to the media. I mean,
Yeah, me too.
hilarious references to Indian media, and I think this satirical reference was required to show Indian media a mirror of reality, to give them a realistic check that where the hypocrisy of the electronic Indian media stands today. Okay, so brilliant work on that, brilliant satire on that. I just absolutely loved it. Especially Mujhe Drugs though. That that reference
Yeah.
is brilliant, and I think we all know where it is coming from. Now, I will actually go to number one quickly as we are running out of time for our podcast. That number one film, what you have placed it in number fifth. Again, this is very ironic. Your last one is my first one, and that is Brahmastra. So,
Yeah.
Brahmastra, for me, I would actually defend the film, unlike a lot of critics, lashing out against it. Because although I do understand that the film has a lot of flaws, I mean, I won't just talk about the appreciation now, because I think that is, everybody knows the basic appreciation, that VFX is good, CGI is good, the concept is good, Iron's vision is good, all those things everybody knows. But I'm just gonna talk about one important thing, is that the theme of part one of Brahmastra was about love. So the love story was essential to the plot, and that is the reason why it was important to show that प्यार से बड़ा ब्रह्मास्त्र और कुछ नहीं होता.
But the main problem of this film was that, the love story was very much half-baked. Yeah, of course,
Of course.
because the story was written in, in 2000, 13 or 14. At that, from that point of time, when the idea just came up in Ayan's mind. So from that time, it was being written. So,
No.
that's one thing. So if this film would have released in 2015, 16, or 17, so that time it was fine because people were watching these kind of films at that point of time.
But
But
there's also a
now,
delay which happened because of pandemic and a lot
yeah,
of other
pandemic
things.
also, yeah, which adds, and during the pandemic, people have watched so many beautiful love stories. There's a love story. The name of the film is 96. It's a Tamil film, so it's such a beautiful love story. So people have watched so many love stories now.
I
So
understand that, but at the same time, I also feel is that I do understand that these were the limitations, and of course, people have all the right to say that it is half baked. But I would not deny that. I'm also agreeing to a large extent that definitely it could have been much better. Especially I would say Ayan could have made it much better. Especially especially the romance we saw in Ye Jawani Hai Deewani. Actually, he would have made it much better. But the thing is, what I'm trying to prove is that love is an important thing which is intrinsic to part 1. So
yeah,
showing it as a moral is something which is number 1, important, and number 2, Brahmastra part 1 is the introduction story. It is setting up the base. So many questions that we have, that why did Isha do this? Why did Isha accompany Shiva? Why did she, go without, do you know Isha's backstory? We are yet to find that out. Right? So let's wait for part 2 to happen. Let's wait for the things to unfold, and I'm sure we'll get to know more things about it. Right? We still even don't know who Dev is. We still
yeah.
haven't even clearly seen Amrita. So let us try to find out these things in part 2, and let's not just get so hasty about it in part 1, because it is forming the base. And without forming the base, you cannot start up any franchise. So it's a good start. It's a good introductory start is what I would say. And again, coming back to
That's what
the
I said. We should give them one more chance. Then only we can feel, because now they have set up the characters. Okay, they are connected. People remember that there is Shiva, there is Isha, there is Dev, there is Amrita, who are not being introduced so properly. Like, they are not shown that their faces also, but still, you know about them and you are excited to know who are they.
yeah.
So yeah, of course, Dev and Amrita will be established in the second part. So that will be a challenge for Ayan, that how he will present them, and how they will establish them, so that in the further parts people remember that what's happening between Dev and Amrita, and what's the relation between
Right.
him and Shiva. So all the things. So
And
that will be a
also,
challenge.
another point I would like to point out is another reason why I've actually placed it at number 1 is also because the Brahmastra music album is my favorite. And be it Kesariya, be it Rasiya, be it Deva Deva, these are my all-time go-to songs, which I can listen all day. Okay, so music album is another reason why I have placed it at number 1. And also coming back to one criticism which even Ayan has accepted, no doubt about it, with regards to the dialogues.
Yeah.
Definitely there is scope for improvement. Definitely it needs to be improved. I'm sure he'll work on it in part 2. But I'll just say this. I have seen couples around me in real life. I've seen people around me in general, in real life, whether in marriages, whether in relationships, or whether in friendships, who are very expressive. And I'm saying, it's my view, maybe an unpopular opinion. I don't think so being expressive is something to be looked down upon or to be embarrassed about. So sometimes we do tend to express our love a lot of the times. And that happens usually by taking the names a lot of times. So Ayan has also mentioned this, that why the Shiva thing was coming. Because he also, calls people whom he loves or is very close to repeatedly with their names as such. I personally do that as well in my life. So I think even if Shivas repeatedly calling out the names, it can be actually seen as a expression of love, and it can be actually resemble the expressive personality of that particular person, rather than looking at that in isolation and be counting the number of times she said Shiva. I think that is worthless, because what needs to be done is not made a meme out of it right now, but what needs to be recognized is the difference in characters which is being portrayed out here. Definitely, I do agree it will get irritating after a particular point of time in the film for the viewers, not denying that, but definitely there is something which is called creative liberty when you're choosing to write a character, and especially if a character is that expressive as you want it to be. So yes, I do not have any complaints with regards to Alia shouting Shiva Shiva multiple times in the film, because I think that is absolute
Yeah,
creative
I know
liberty of
that.
the filmmakers. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
I would like to know about your top one film now before we conclude.
So my number one films. You don't know my opinion on Brahmastra, so I'll
Yeah, you've
directly
already
go
mentioned
on.
in fifth.
So that's what. So my number one film is an underrated film. I would say it's an underrated film, ahead of its time. Okay,
Mhm.
people have not watched it maybe till now. It is now available on Z5. I'm just mentioning it.
Okay.
The name of the film is Jhund.
Okay.
It's an amazing work. Okay, I just love the film. You know, Amitabh Bachchan, first of all, with Nagraj Manjule. I have not watched Nagraj Manjule's previous works, but you know, here I'm just a big fan. And you know, the story is about slums. You know, the slum there is. There are kids who are not given some sort of attention. They live their lives as if they are, and you know, and they are like beating people, killing people or something. They just want money and all. They'll be consuming alcohol and stuffs. But here is a character of Amitabh Bachchan, who is a football coach. He just saw that potential in all that kids, that yeah, they can be a footballers in the future. They can take Indian football to a different level. So he believes them, and he starts giving them opportunity first by telling them that if you play for 1 hour or 2 hours, I'll give you money. So they are doing that, and as soon the story progresses, we just see that people from the slum, the children from the slums, they also started realizing that yeah, their life is very limited to this. They can do many things, not just taking the blade, killing people, or fighting with anyone in the streets, on the streets. So it's better that they should try something. And the one more thing that the makers, this thing which I loved, that they took real, they did not take any actors, child actors, that they should play these Marathi characters. Those actors, those Marathi actors, the children, they were actually the children from the slums. And there is a scene where they're talking about what happens with them, what they do throughout the day, and what's going on in their respective homes. So that's actually the true story which the children are narrating. There's an interview or something where it is being mentioned that there was no script for this scene. The children had to just speak up the truth, or speak up whatever they have inside them.
Right.
So that's what it is. So I just feel that film. I remember this film. I just when I saw the few glimpses, or posters during the COVID pandemic, I saw the football thing. So I actually love sports dramas and all. So I was waiting for it. So when the trailer arrived, I was impressed, and then the film came. I watched the film. I was impressed. So
Right.
it's an underrated film and ahead of its time, and the best film for me this year. Um, so yeah, I'm very impressed.
रब्बा ने तुझको बनाने में कर दी है हुस्न की खाली तिजोरियां, काजल की सियाही सी लिखी है तूने जाने कितनों की लव स्टोरियां, केसरिया तेरा इश्क है पिया, रंग जाऊं जो मैं हाथ लगाऊं दिन बीते.
So this is it from our end. for entertaining Bollywood films of 2022. And do understand that our views are completely subjective and personal, and definitely you may differ with it. So do let us know in the comment box whether you agree with us or not, and what were the entertaining Bollywood films of this year for you. And see you in another segment, in another episode with another interesting topic. Till then, stay happy, stay healthy, and keep loving cinema, and keep showering love for Cinepari, and keep following it for latest movie updates.